I just started on the street corner, same like a guys, you understand. I just started
Just
out on the
cutting.
screen, just cutting, you understand. And and somebody showed me a flyer the other day of like back then when I was starting out, you understand. And I think like I charged like 15 rand. It was like 15 rand a haircut, like back in 2010.
Yeah.
Sheldon Tatchell, CEO and the founder of Legends Barber, is a successful businessman who has been able to create a business that is worth millions of rands and is estimated to be worth billions in the future. In this video, we're going to be looking into his come-up story, how he was able to make millions from cutting hair, and by the time you get to the end of this video, you will have an outlining idea of how you, yourself, could create a business big as Legends Barbershop. Although his Instagram page looks similar to every other businessman's Instagram page, more business-related posts, less personal life content, Sheldon is far more successful than what meets the eye. Mr. Tatchell is an entrepreneur who is driven by his purpose of being legendary and serving people. He was able to start his business with just a stool and clippers on a stoop to opening multiple stores across the country.
2011, July 2011, I can remember all I had was a clipper and a chair. You see those plastic chairs? Yeah. That's all I had. I didn't have anything fancy, just a plastic chair and a clipper, and obviously a sound box just to make a noise so people can just create awareness. You know how it is in a kasi.
Yeah.
I understand.
Sheldon Tatchell was born into a two-parent household, his mother wanting him to be a doctor and his father wanting him to become an athlete/boxer. Growing up, Sheldon didn't have much, and most people would have bet that he would have passed away without becoming a millionaire, but he knew he wanted to beat the odds and make sure that the poverty lineage ends with him. As Sheldon grew up, he had zero experience in cutting hair, but it was something he took interest in because it was a way that could make him chump change on the side. So the way he learned how to cut hair was by watching other barbers in his hometown cut hair. When they realized what Sheldon was doing, they would kick him out. Then what he would do was come back with a 2-liter bottle of Coke as a token of an apology and a way to forge a relationship. Then once the relationship has formed, he would offer to cut other people's hair for free on the busy days to sharpen his skills.
I want to like learn as much as possible, you understand? And at the age of 12, 13 years old, I used to like go out, like see how the guys are busy cutting on the street corner and just basically like just catch from them like what's this guy doing, you understand? Can I go practice?
After Sheldon matriculated, he still didn't have a solid plan of how he was going to make the coins, but he was given 2 choices, and none of the choices were cutting hair. Choice number 1 was to risk his life in exchange of big fast money through stealing cars. This choice was most likely going to end with him being in jail. Choice number 2, get a regular day job at the bank and earn a somewhat decent living that wouldn't make him a millionaire anytime soon. He went with the second choice because he realized that him working at the bank would put him around people with ambitions of having money. And although he didn't know how exactly, it would increase his chances of him being able to become rich.
What happened to me was that when I matriculated, a friend of mine that was stealing cars, he was like, you know what, it's either you want to come steal with me cars so we can make money, and there was another voice from somewhere else that said, you know what, there's opportunity for you to go work in a bank. Why not pursue it?
So with him working a few years at the bank, it was not long until his colleagues' influence rubbed off him and decided to pick up a side gig/side hustle. So one day after work, he decided to put a stool on the stoop, played some now music on his soundbox, had clippers in his hands, and offered a free haircut to anyone who passed his house that day. Although it was kinda slow at the beginning, it only took about 4 months for him to start renting out a place and getting a few guys from his community to start cutting hair for him while he is at his 9 to 5. Business was going well and his side hustle was looking promising until he went on a honeymoon with his wife. The person he left in charge stopped paying the barbers and also didn't pay the rent, because when he came back from his honeymoon, he was locked out of his own shop.
And he didn't pay the rental by the 7th of the month. He also didn't pay the guys, so the guys also ended up losing hope in coming back because he used to get paid on a weekly basis. So it was one of those things, standing in front of those closed doors, and I was like, you know what, maybe this thing is not for me, man. Maybe I should just leave it. And I just continued working in a bank, and I just said, nah, it's over for me.
After him putting all that effort and time into his side hustle and it coming down that quickly, business and thinking that maybe all that he is good for is working at the bank and the bank alone. But only after a few days, his old customers called him asking him for a haircut, but he turned them all down and said he was out of the haircutting business and he's solely focused on his 9 to 5 now. 1 year passed, 2 years passed, and in his third year of him quitting his haircutting business, he found himself yearning to cut hair again, but this time he said he will do it different. Sheldon bought himself a motorbike, and the next person that called him to ask if he still cuts hair, he would drive to them and go cut their hair. The reason why his previous clients kept on calling to ask whether he still cuts hair is because when Mr. Tatchell would cut their hair, he would conversate with them and actually keep note of what they spoke about, so that when they come back next time, the conversation would continue. After a couple of drives of him going to cut hair, he realized that this concept itself is good, but it is taxing, and he came to the conclusion that he needed a physical shop again. He also had one encounter with his client that resulted in him not being able to cut his hair because there was load shedding at that time, and that gave him the idea that he should get a mobile barber shop as well. Although he didn't afford it at the time, when he reached home that night, he wrote it out and drew out the whole idea of the mobile van in great detail and placed it somewhere where he can see it daily. And that idea became something he would pray about.
So back then, the idea of a bus came about, you understand? But due to funds, we couldn't afford it at the time. But I mean, it came at the right time. It came like last October, 2017 October. And I mean, like, it's been doing well ever since. The shops, however.
A few months later, after reopening his first store in Eldorado Park, another one was opened within the same year. From there, he had set a goal of opening 5 stores in 5 years, and by the 3rd year, he had already achieved that goal. By the 5th year, more than 10 stores were open nationwide, and he had his first mobile barber shop up and running the way he had imagined it. Now he has a goal of opening up more than 200 barber shops around the continent by the year 2025.
The goal is to have about maybe 200 stores by 2025. That was our goal previously, but hopefully we'll surpass that soon.
Yeah.
And that brings us to today. Sheldon Tatchell has achieved a lot out of life by 34. He has a wife, 2 kids, a super successful business which offers franchise opportunities, and through the franchising opportunity is how Sheldon and the late Riky got into business together. So go watch this video to learn how Riky convinced Sheldon to start franchising.